Happy Friday, America. Welcome to another fun show of Happy Friday, America. Of course, I am Arthur. That was the Fricashinas that brought us in. We love that song. It will get stuck in your head. Almost guarantee that. Across the couch from me, I'm kicking it with my man K-Bat.
Happy Friday, America. We're on to September now. We're closing out the year here. It's crazy how fast time is moving along, so let's make the best of it. Thanks again for joining us here on the YouTube channel, Discussion Combustion. Happy Friday, America. Let's go, Art.
Yeah, this is always a fun time, and it's a great way to end out the work week and bring in the weekend. So we got some fun articles that we found this week. First one kicking us off is it's kind of buzzing up there in Ontario, north of the border.
Well, I think you being up in Canada last week kind of inspired this one a little bit. Actually, it didn't really inspire anything. I was just scrolling through trying to put in my notes and my articles this week, and I saw this one. It caught my eye, and I listened to it, and it's just incredible. So, just north of the border, our friends up there, our friends to the north and the Canucks up there in Ontario, there was a truck that was hauling some bees. They were trying to move bees from one area to another. It was up in the Burlington area in Ontario, and 5 million bees fell off the back of this flatbed. 5 million bees, Art. I mean, that's insane. And it happened early in the morning, and they had to recruit in, beekeepers, people that understand how to, round everything up. Because as you know, your mom was a bee advocate, had hives. She could probably add some value to how difficult it is to maintain that, to move them, all that kind of stuff. But think about that.
Yeah, a lot goes into all that.
Going down the highway, 5 million bees spill off of this rig. They got to shut the road down. They got to bring in experts to round them all up.
Yeah, you got to find the queens, right? And so you got to go get the queens, and once you capture them, then the rest of that hive will go with them. And so
is that how it works?
Yeah, so bees will move from different locations, and that's called a swarm when they do that, and the swarm is around the queen. So that way the queen is always protected, but hell of an effort to do that. These trucks, man, I'll tell you, there's a lot going on with that. And out of Indiana, we had a man that got an OWI while driving Power Wheels Jeep. Okay, so this guy's driving around at nighttime. There's no reflectors or lights or anything on this, and the police end up pulling him over in this Power Wheels Jeep, and he's under the influence of methamphetamine and marijuana.
Wow. And there was a video of this, wasn't there, that kind of went a little bit viral? Of this guy cruising around. So, a Power Wheels Jeep, I had one of those growing up, and they were a lot of fun. It wasn't a Jeep, actually. It was like a little four-wheeler Power Wheels. But the fact remains, is that considered a motor vehicle? It isn't. It's a battery-powered apparatus. But if you're, wasted on it, or whatever kind of drugs you're on, and you're out there cruising around, the police are going to get you, man, for sure. So we got an OWI while driving this thing around.
51-year-old John. Come on, man. What are you doing on there? And look, well, I think it was the methamphetamine was the real culprit here.
Probably.
That's what I'm kind of thinking out of those two. And this is a funny one. Shout out to Kyle Mates for sending this one over. We'll always take suggestions if you have something that looks like fun, and whatever. We're always open to hearing stuff.
Well, yeah, and again, I would say to our first-time, viewers here on YouTube, Happy Friday, America, obviously very different than Discussion Combustion. Art and I kind of find stuff that is we try to do good news. We obviously pay tribute to certain areas, but we try to keep this a funny, article-filled show about things that are going around, in the internet, around the country. Obviously, we covered a little bit of Canada. Just fun stuff that we find on the internet, guys. Well, that's really what the show's about.
It is. And one thing that Kevin can't get away from is world records. And
yes.
So you found some record-breaking cheese.
Well, it ain't easy being cheesy, as I said on a previous episode a few weeks back. And I like Kev's random records. This is kind of
random records are fun.
You're going to hear a lot of records.
They are
from me.
fun.
They're a lot of F1, and this one's kind of wild. So there is a Spanish cheese that broke the world record for not necessarily the weight or the taste, it was the amount that it went for, guys. So it was a 4.8-pound wheel of Spanish cheese, and it went for $32,000 at auction. Think about that.
Wow.
Right? But what went into this thing, it was a Cabrales blue cheese, which was manufactured by a factory that's been around a long time, the Los Puertos factory, and it was aged in the mountain caves of Asturias, which is just incredible. So it sold for $32,408 and 10, which is crazy, man. When you think about 4.8 pounds of cheese, that's a lot of cheese, of course.
Yeah.
But to go for over $32,000, I'd be curious. How do you estimate
price
the value?
The
Yeah, right. Like, where do you start with? Obviously, it's auction. And so people are bidding on it and stuff. But I'd like to have a slice of this and just give it a taste.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, 4.8 pounds. Think about that. It's not a ton. It really isn't. I've seen cheese wheels 50, 75 pounds. You know?
No, that's not that much cheese if you really think about it. I'm sure it's delicious. It would be so disappointing if like you bit into it and then you're like, this isn't really my taste buds. You're just like, because not all cheeses are equal.
Well, no, they're not, and they pair well with different things and depending on your palate. But I mean, to justify spending this kind of money. But look, if you're an aficionado or a connoisseur of these kind of things, it's no different than some of the being in the alcohol industry, which I am in the daytime. Some of these allocated whiskeys and stuff that we get in,
super expensive,
especially the Japanese imports, the Yamazakis, the 18 years, the 100 anniversaries. I mean, they're going for $3,500 a bottle for 750 milliliters of fluid. So
it's crazy.
You got to justify what matters to you, what you want to put your money at. But man, a $32,000 4.8 pounds of cheese. I want to have a slice of it, man, and give it a taste.
Yeah, I would like to have it with the correct type of cracker as well. Be delicious. So one thing that people should not be doing with their crackers in Yellowstone Park specifically is interacting with the animals out there, stuff like that. So we're moving it to Montana next. The big sky country.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Okay, thank goodness. And so this article right here is talking about how a Montana native is saying one of the most annoying things and dangerous things that tourists do when they visit the state, and specifically Yellowstone Park. And when people are going there, it's actually interacting with the animals. There was a couple tidbits about how there was a bunch of people kind of surrounding a bear cub and their mother and getting too close. Like, come on, man. Are you trying to get your face bit off or scratched up? Or like the people hanging out too close to all the bison and getting involved with that? Like, those are huge animals. If you were to get in the way of that thing trying to move, you're in trouble. So it's interesting that it even needs to be brought up. But people just don't respect the wildlife, I guess.
They do not respect the wildlife, and there's a lot of things that go into this. I mean, we've seen for many years, especially Yellowstone. All the tourists go up there. It's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. You have buffalo, you have bison, you have these incredible creatures that are just roaming about, crossing the roads. This is their native land. These animals, right? We built roads through there. So we can provide transportation from point A to point B across the big sky country. But what a lot of folks do, and what I see a lot on, TikToks and people just want to get selfies with these animals. We've talked about it in the past. Somebody at a zoo was trying to get a selfie with a jaguar and got her arm ripped off. So, when you start messing with these incredible animals, right, and you're trying to do videos and all this kind of stuff, these animals are going to fight back. Right, this is their native land. They don't owe you anything, And I think we see a lot of that with folks going up there into Big Sky Country and getting involved with some of this wildlife.
Have you ever been to Yellowstone?
I have not been to Yellowstone.
Me neither.
I hear it's gorgeous up there. Cody, Wyoming is where a lot of folks like to stay, and then they cross over into the Yellowstone National Park.
So how many states? I know it's in Utah, Montana. Is it in
Wyoming?
Wyoming as well.
Yeah, northwestern Wyoming. So like Cody, Wyoming. Again, it's a good cowboy town from what I understand. A lot of folks like to stay there before they make the final trek into Yellowstone National Park. But obviously, incredible. It has just an incredible reputation for the beauty of nature, the animals that are about. But I think that's the biggest thing that we need to drive home here is, this is their home. The animals. This is where they live. It's not a petting zoo. It's not for you.
They're
to go
not
up there.
Domesticated.
They're not domesticated. They're gonna attack. They're gonna ram your car. People are like, oh, I can't believe that this buffalo or this bison just gored our the front end of our Kia Sorrento. Well, that's what's gonna happen if you're messing with it. As Bill Burr says, with
the rattlesnake shit.
With the rattlesnake, did you not see it?
Were you fucking with it?
Were you fucking with it? I mean, come on, guys. Why did the rattlesnake get so mad that it bit you?
Yeah.
You know, so
give it some space. You got to give it some space.
I think it's just it's a reminder for everyone to appreciate and respect life. That's the state motto here in Colorado is respect life and these animals and their natural environment. I mean, go enjoy the beauty. I'd love to get up there and see it, Art, but people just need to tighten up and just be a little bit smarter with this.
Yeah. Good stuff, and I like how we could open up on this a little bit. Have a little, it's freestyle conversation on subject. It's a lot of fun. So another segment that we do weekly here, Would You Rather? So this one, I'm going to have some extra questions about.
Okay.
I mean, we want to open this up a little bit because it's just, so would you rather live 1,000-year life, right? So 1,000 years of life, or would you rather have 10 100-year lives?
Yeah, I thought about this one a lot when I was reading through the script. There's pros and cons to both, I feel like.
So how do you age? So if you do the
that's a big factor.
1,000-year life,
Yeah.
are you like
Do you age
old?
10 times slower,
Yeah.
So to speak,
But then you're still old for like a really long
for like
time.
100 years, maybe
Yeah.
200 years, if you're aging 10% slower, or 10x slower, I should say. I think, given the question, I mean, I like both options here, Art. I do.
Can you remember, if you do the 10 lives, do you remember the last life?
Yeah, well, I mean, those are all things you got to consider.
Right? So what do we think about, because we can make up our own rules here.
We can make up our own rules.
Yeah.
I think just based on the circumstances and having to choose one or the other, I think I'm going to take the 10 100-year lives because it gives you 10 opportunities to do different things. Maybe in one life you want to be a race car driver. Maybe in the next life you want to be a cheese farmer.
Okay.
So like you can do different stuff.
You're trying to sell that $3,200, $32,000,
$32,000 cheese wheel.
Yeah.
You can do that in one of your lives, and then
that's
whatever.
hilarious.
It gives you opportunities to do different things. I feel like so taking the 10 100-year lives, I think, is the choice that I would make. And for the folks that are tuning in for the first time with the Would You Rathers, if you go down to the comments below, or if you go down to the show notes below, you'll see that this and all the articles will be in there. And then just go ahead and comment on what you would rather choose. And also, if you follow us on social media, specifically Twitter/X, we will have the poll up there weekly. So be sure to follow Happy Fry USA on Twitter and get involved with the Would You Rather segment. So what are you taking, Art?
We're unanimous on this one. I'm doing the 10 100-year lives. I do hope that I can remember the lives, though. And so that way you have like this extra experience, and you'd really have like, that's the best way to go. That's the best way to go.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
like that.
We've had a couple Would You Rathers where we did the internet or no phone a couple weeks ago, right? For folks that didn't catch that episode. And it's like, well, then again, we had more parameters. Well, what does this look like? What can you do with the phone?
Yeah.
What can you not do with the internet?
Yeah.
So the Would You Rathers are fun. Kind of gets you thinking a little bit, guys.
We make up our own rules here, and that's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely a lot of fun. Something that was not fun. I really was getting really balls deep into logistics this week on this episode.
All these full truckload claims that you're talking news about, man.
Yeah. So our friends out there in Utah, there was a truck that was cruising down. He was carrying baking flour. So your typical. I imagine it would be maybe bleached. Maybe it was unbleached flour. I don't know what kind of flour was on this truck, but what I do know is this: it was a full 53-foot rig full of flour. Going from A to B, and this thing tipped over. There was minor injuries. It was a team drive. So there was two guys in the cab. One walked away. One did have to be treated for minor injuries. But as a result of tipping this trailer over with flour, you can imagine it absolutely wrecked.
Yeah.
It wrecked the road out there in Utah. So
road wrecker.
Kind of like what we had a couple weeks ago with the cheese down in Arkansas. Covering the roads. This probably was not easy to clean up either.
No.
A little bit easier than cheese, though.
I mean, it'd be a bad situation if it started to rain or something.
It would get messy.
You have all this out there, and
it would get messy.
We got to be careful. I mean, what do you think is the cause to most accidents? Is it people driving too fast? Do you think that's what it is?
I think that's a contributing factor, but the thing is with as we all know, commercial driver's license, which my older brother holds one, and he drives.
And thanks to all the drivers out there, countries don't work without the drivers.
You got to have the drivers, man. And again, there's a reason they carry a commercial's driver's license, Class A. Air brakes, combination vehicles, doubles, triples, all that stuff, hazmat. These guys are trained to drive these vehicles from point A to point B. But just like anything, we're human. Accidents are going to happen. Mechanical failures are going to happen. And there really wasn't a lot here as to what was the cause of the wreck. But the Logan City Fire Department, was able to respond to the situation, get it cleaned up, get everyone moving. Fortunately, no injuries. But man, can you just imagine cruising down and just seeing all this, baking flour?
Like, what
out
is
there?
this? You're like, what is going on over here?
Crazy stuff, man.
It is. Let everybody stay safe out there. All the first responders too. Drivers, everybody. We could just we're gonna have a tribute episode one time where it's just us giving shout outs.
Yes.
And to all the love.
Absolutely.
And so a very popular chef who has gotten a lot of love and still does is our man Gordon Ramsay. He's going to be opening up a kitchen in Oklahoma City this fall. That's super exciting for everybody out there. I have not ate at one of these things. There's not one in Colorado right now. But it looks delicious. The ambiance in there, I was checking out all the pictures. It looks like a really great time. And as far as I could see, the price point is, like a high-end restaurant, which you would think it would pay. Like, it's not crazy.
Yeah.
And, those kind of meals are fun, like once a quarter. Like, you kind of go blow a couple hundred on a meal or something. Just go do that every once in a while.
I'm kind of surprised right here in Denver, Colorado, that Gordon Ramsay hasn't brought one of his restaurants here, whether that's a Hell's Kitchen, whether that's a Ramsay's Kitchen, what have you. But Oklahoma City, it's a great city down there. Oklahoma's a fun state, for the folks down there. Definitely going to want to get involved. And, as far as like the plate cost, it's hard to say, right? Because it's also going to be contingent on what you order a little bit. But we know that, one of Gordon Ramsay's signature dishes is the beef Wellington, which is my personal favorite. It's so good. It's fantastic. I mean, beef Wellington, it's just tremendous. I mean, you're taking beef, you're rolling it up in a mushroom, kind of chopped mushroom based around it, and then putting a pastry around it and serving it with a mushroom gravy. It's delicious.
Oh, it does sound good.
Gordon said it took him 1,000 attempts to master that recipe.
1,000 attempts, huh?
Yeah. And look, Gordon's one of the best. I love watching his programs. Hell's Kitchen's coming out. We've had some folks from Hell's Kitchen on our other show, Discussion Combustion. It's just incredible. I do follow Gordon on social, and I like watching a lot of the cooking videos that he does, and the amount of shows that this guy does. I mean,
he's busy.
It's crazy.
He's staying busy.
Every time I turn on Fox or one of those channels, Gordon's got a new cooking show coming out. MasterChef, Hell's Kitchen, 24 Hours to Hell and Back, Restaurant Nightmares. It's like, man, this guy is busy and continues to grow his brand, his franchise, and is going to Oklahoma City. So I'm hoping to see one here in Denver, Colorado in the next few years.
Yeah, it sounds delicious. And I do agree with the point, though, that you're talking about, the doing something 1,000 times and until you get it right sort of thing. Like, you really do have to kind of keep going at it and being a bit relentless in order to see that next level, right? And every day you get tested a little bit, man. So that's awesome. I don't know what dish I would get. I think I would get something pasta related is what I would go for.
Yeah.
Like maybe I don't know if he does Alfredos. I'm sure he has. But I don't know if that's really featured.
I could see him doing a pasta dish for sure. I mean, and I'd be curious to see with this restaurant art, because I didn't really dive in too deep, and it didn't really go into the details of, because he doesn't just put any head chef on his restaurants, as we know. Sure, they've made entertainment out of it with Hell's Kitchen and stuff like that, but these are talented chefs. We've had these folks on our other program. So he's not going to just throw any guy off the street into his restaurant to represent his recipes, his brands, the way he cooks stuff, because Gordon's very particular about things, very particular. So that's pretty cool. Did we happen to see a date when this is opening? I mean, it says this fall.
No, yeah, they were kind of vague in there. They didn't give a specific date, just coming this fall, something to look forward to. So that will be happening shortly. Because it's coming up, like you said. I can't believe it's already September.
It's September. Yep,
Man.
September 1st today. And the cooler weather is coming. Still pretty hot in a lot of parts of the country, though, Art. It really is. Phoenix is roasting. Texas is roasting. And it's still hot here in Colorado. So cooler weather is coming, though, as Zach Brown Band says.
That's what we've been missing from this show, actually, is like a weather segment. Like you could do like predictions for the next week.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, as Happy Friday America continues to develop and we do different segments and have fun, for the folks that don't know me, I'm a huge fan of weather. Wanted to be a meteorologist growing up. So I think it would be fun to do a Happy Friday America weather segment, especially as we start getting into, the winter weather and some of these events. Obviously, we got hurricanes down there in Florida right now, so hopefully our Florida friends are safe from those hurricanes. It's just a part of Mother Nature. She's wild. So maybe, as we continue to move forward with this program, Art, we'll start doing some weather segments.
Yeah, that sounds fun. So we always like to pay tribute here on Happy Friday America, and we lost a good one.
We sure did, man. Bob Barker. I mean, come on. If you weren't sick, I mean, we're a little bit older, but if you weren't sick in the 90s, staying home eating your chicken noodle soup, and watching The Price is Right, that was living in the 90s for me. Staying home from school, watching The Price is Right, man. And Bob Barker, he's an icon. Absolute icon. I mean, he hosted it since 1972. Obviously, Drew Carey, is took over the program because, Bob Barker was 99 when he passed away. So, Price is Right was fantastic. I mean, just a fantastic show host, just like Alex Trebek was. We paid tribute to him with Jeopardy, a year or two ago. But Bob Barker, man, that's a big loss for sure. But 99 years, man, it's a full life.
It is a full life.
It's a full life for sure.
Yeah, I would like to think that he's moving on to one of the next 1 out of 10. He's doing a couple of these. To live to being 99. having that kind of life, bringing that kind of joy out there to people, and doing what he did. That's just, it sounds like such a fun existence.
Yeah.
And you got to be grateful when the times are good, and you got to buckle in when the times get bad, Of
course.
I mean, that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah, of course. I mean, he was just a nice man. He gave back to the community a lot. He was very accepting to fans of the show and all that kind of stuff. I mean, any show host, game show, it's a very active lifestyle. I mean, you're constantly on set. You're constantly doing the next show. You're constantly shooting. Over on Discussion Combustion, we had a gentleman by the name of James Richard Lane on that was actually a contestant on that program and had a chance to meet Bob Barker and said he was fantastic. He was a winner on the show. So The Price is Right, fantastic. Bob Barker, it was just tremendous with the joy that he brought people and just that character in general. And let's not forget, too, he did a little bit of acting.
He did.
He was in Happy Gilmore with Adam Sandler. That's an absolutely hilarious scene. Happy Gilmore came out in like 94, 95, but they're on the golf course, having some fun, and then they get into it because they were like teammates. And I just remember Adam Sandler looking at Bob Barker and going, "The price is wrong, bitch."
Adam Sandler, man.
So
what a
R.I.P.
classic. Yeah,
R.I.P. Bob Barker.
And just one other person was Mr. Rogers. I feel like he also contributed a lot. I know he passed a while ago, but it's cool when it's a shame that you learn more after people pass. Like, you don't normally, you start learning all their history and stuff.
Right.
And it's interesting how that works out,
That's just kind of the celebration of life a little bit, and that's when they get to. And I know yesterday they aired they did a special on The Price is Right. Drew Carey, of course, the host. They did a special for Bob Barker. I didn't get a chance to see it. Did air yesterday, and I'd like to take a look at that.
Yeah, no, that's going to be good. So something else that we are all going to be celebrating is Labor Day weekend is here. It's upon us. So what's everybody getting into? Do you have plans for Labor Day that I don't know about? What's going on?
Well, so Labor Day weekend, man, I worked in the grocery business for so long, so it was really never a weekend that I got to enjoy. But where I grew up in Wolfboro, New Hampshire, a lot of the kids are already back in school. So anyone kind of in the East Coast or the Northeast can understand that your kids are going back to school Tuesday. We always went back to school Tuesday after Labor Day. That's when we went back. So growing up, that's kind of what Labor Day was for me. Now, I'm going to have some fun, man. Dierks Bentley, one of my favorite artists of all time, he's playing Red Rocks here in Denver, Colorado next Tuesday and Wednesday night. But Monday night, Labor Day, he's doing a private show at his bar downtown Denver, Colorado at Dierks Bentley Whiskey Row. Art and I are going to be there with the Hot Country Nights. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, it's going to be a boot stomping, sneaker skeeting good time, I tell you.
Sneaker skeeting. So... Yeah, looking forward to that. Obviously, hopefully everyone's safe this weekend doing barbecues, camping. This is the last, big weekend for camping, this Labor Day weekend. So hopefully everyone stays safe. So, one of the segments that Art was mentioning, we like to do the cool stuff to do, right? So things that are going on around America that we find. We got Rocklahoma happening. Oklahoma's made it twice into this program.
Rocklahoma.
So Rocklahoma's going on all weekend long, all Labor Day weekend long down there in Pryor, Oklahoma. Definitely want to get involved with that. A lot of bands are going to be playing. I love these big music festivals where we have multiple stages and just having a good time.
Yeah, it's crazy when you go to those too, because you kind of just going around which one do I want to listen to, where to next, and it can get a little hectic. You got to be prepared. You got to be prepared to be on your feet all day and just walking around. You stay moving.
Yeah, absolutely.
Down there in Chandler, Arizona, Hip Hop 50 2-day event, Chandler, Arizona. Hip Hop 50.
That looked fun, man. That looked really fun. A lot of big hitters down there, guys. All our favorite rappers that we grew up knew and loved, they're going to be there. You got the Snoop Dogg's, the Dr. Dre's of the world. They're going down there to rip it up, tater chip it.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be a good time. That's going to be a really good time.
Yeah, I would definitely be going to that if I lived in Arizona. And we love music around here. So we got the Jazz Festival. It's the Low Country Jazz Festival down in Charleston, South Carolina. That's going on tomorrow, guys, if you're in that area. South Carolina is pretty busy this weekend. There's a lot of great events going on in SC. But if you want to go see some jazz, get in there and kind of just really get your groove on this Labor Day weekend, check out that Low Country Jazz Fest.
Oh, that sounds like a blast. And we love food here, of course. I would love to go down to this one, Middle Eastern Food Festival. That's in McLean, Virginia. That's Saturday and Sunday. I love trying different types of foods. Look, you don't know until you try, right? So you gotta try the palate out and see what's good out there. And Middle Eastern food I've had, but it's minimal. I haven't had too much, I would say.
Yeah, it's delicious. Absolutely delicious. And food festivals is a great way to try it because you know you're going to have all these different chefs and these culinary arts coming in to represent the festival. We got the Denver Food and Wine Festival coming up next weekend, which we'll talk about cool stuff to do next week. But I love stuff like that because that's when you get to try, the true, authentic cuisines. It's delicious.
I know something else that you love, and it's something that's extremely loud.
Yes. So, as you guys know, NASCAR, Mash the Gas podcast every Monday night, any platform you choose. Playoffs are here. Chase Elliott did not make the playoffs. Kind of a big deal. Bubba Wallace is in. We're kicking it off in Darlington, South Carolina for the Cookout Southern 500. It's an iconic race. Sunday night. It's going to be a sold-out crowd down there in Darlington, South Carolina. So once you get done going to that Low Country Jazz Festival on Saturday and you got your Music Fest in, head on over to Darlington and watch some epic racing. It's one of 10 races we're kicking off in the playoffs. Man, I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be so much fun. You also cook up some fun stuff, hosting some NASCAR stuff, which is fun as well. Looking forward to it. But how do we close it out here, man?
Oh, we always close it out with a little bit of fun, Art. So obviously, everyone joining us here on YouTube, we certainly appreciate your continued support. Be sure to mash that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. We're not on other platforms. It's not a podcast type of program like Discussion Combustion, so you can only see us, Happy Friday America, right here on YouTube. Obviously, social media is a huge part of what we do, so you're going to want to get involved with that. Instagram and Facebook, it's going to be at Happy Friday USA. That's at Happy Friday USA. Twitter and X is going to be at Happy Fry USA. Okay, so not Friday, at Happy Fry USA. And that's where you can get involved with the Would You Rathers. There's going to be polls that come out every week on there, guys. So be sure to submit your vote. And, we can kind of recap as things go forward. Of course, if you want to get in touch with us, we're at happyfridayamerica@gmail.com. That's happyfridayamerica@gmail.com. If you want to send us a segment idea, if you want to just give us a hard time, we love those kind of emails. It's a lot of fun, guys.
What do you got?
Yeah, send us what you got.
What you got?
Send us what you got. Segment ideas. Send us Would You Rathers. I mean, maybe your Would You Rather could make the program for sure. So, and I think we should bring back the word of the week too for Happy Friday America.
Bring it back. We have an agenda now. It's just like this was like a meeting.
Yeah, it's going to continue to grow, guys, as we move on. Obviously, we have very loyal people that have been around this program and support us in our other programs. People like Lori and all those that send us articles and can constantly get involved with Would You Rathers and Words of the Week. So we appreciate that. This show will continue to evolve. It'll develop as time goes on. And the Fricashinas, they always play us in and they play us out. We love the Fricashinas. Download their music. Definitely want to check them out on social media. And if you're in the Denver, Colorado area, go see them live. They're about to play us out right now. Happy Labor Day weekend. Happy Friday, America. Let's go.